Hi, I'm Short, and in this video I'm going to explain to you how you can give this Volkswagen Passat smartkey a brand new casing. For this, all we need is the new casing, a flathead screwdriver, and I would personally recommend using a prying tool. This is a kind of a small blade that you can use to carefully open the casing without causing any damage. You can also use a regular blade, like a utility knife, but there's a good chance this will cause scratches. All right, let's get started right away. First, I open the original key. On the side of the head, we see a small slot button here, and if we press it, the emergency key pops out. If we keep it pressed, we can also completely remove the emergency key from the key. Having done that, we're going to slide this chrome piece aside a little to eventually make room to remove it. So now I'm pushing it aside completely. As you can see, it has now shifted about 2 millimeters, and I can pull it off a little. And I turn it over. I place the prying tool underneath again and give it a quarter turn. And I do this so I can first access the battery. Now, I want to take out the battery. It's 2032 model, and now comes the most difficult part. Now we still need to access the electronics. Why is that tricky? Well, in some cases you can separate the top and bottom halves quite easily. But it also happens quite often that there's a very thick layer of glue underneath here. That makes it very difficult to separate the two halves. Now, the model I have in my hands happens to be one that will come apart quite easily in a moment. But do be prepared that you really need to cut open a part properly to get to the electronics. And make sure you don't cause any damage to the circuit board here. Are you unsure if it's going to work, or have you already been at it for an hour and still haven't managed to reach the circuit board? Don't worry, it's a difficult model too. Just get in touch with us and we'll see if we can help you. Now, between the black and the light colored plastic, I place the prying tool again. That's often the spot where you can most easily create some space at first. Again, I keep tilting the prying tool. I'm trying to make some room. I do that on both sides as well. Move it around a little again. And the moment we see that opportunity, and that's happened here, there's now a gap here. I try to keep inserting the prying tool, giving it that quarter turn. And there we have the circuit board. Again, for me, this is going very easily right now. Sometimes it can really take a lot longer. Now, here we have the circuit board that we're going to transfer to the new housing. But there's one other component that's very important to take along, and it's something that's easy to overlook, the transponder. You can find the transponder in 3 different forms. There might be a glass transponder inside the housing in this black compartment. You can carefully pry it out. Be careful, it's very fragile when transferring it to the new housing. By the way, it's important to mention the transponder is responsible for starting the car. If you don't transfer it, the new key simply won't work. So it's extremely important to transfer the transponder and to do so without damaging it. So always try to handle it very carefully, gently, loosen it a little bit, and don't go at it with pliers or heavy tools. It's not worth it. Can't you get the transponder loose and is it glued on really well? Then please contact us again, and we'll be happy to help you further in the process. In our case, the transponder is on the side, and it's a gray carbon block. Here too, I'm trying to create a bit of space again And sometimes it can take a little while to do. At a certain point, you'll get that little block out. A third option, by the way, is that instead of a large gray block on the circuit board, there's a copper brown rod with a copper colored coil. If you see that, then you know the transponder was not on this side of the key. Not on this side either, but it was already soldered onto the circuit board. If you see that, you don't have to do anything with it. That's great, and you'll be just fine with that. But these are the three options you might encounter. And if the transponder is in the casing, always transfer it. Well, we no longer need the old casing, so I'll just grab the new model right away. And the new model is supplied as follows. We have an emergency key again, which I'll set aside for now. We have the casing, the chrome top, and a battery holder. In this model that I'm holding, the battery holder is soldered onto the circuit board, so we don't need that one here. If you have a model where it's loose, then I'll show you in a moment how to attach it in the casing. Again, we'll use the prying tool to go around the casing, so once more we'll try to create some space between the two halves. A key casing is always easier to open than an original W casing. There's never any glue in between because it's obviously designed to be opened. But yes, suppose your circuit board doesn't have this battery holder attached and it's just loose in your casing. Then you place it as follows. The battery holder has a long side and a short side. The long side goes at the top and the short side points toward us. So I place it in the key like this. We have a few notches here, and I place the battery holder behind the longest black notch, and it is held in place by everything surrounding it. In our case, this one is not needed. For us, it's soldered onto the circuit board, so I'll set it aside again. I place the transponder in the casing. I see that in our case it's a bit loose, so I'm going to secure it. We use Prit Buddies for that. Those fun little erasers that you can also use to stick posters to windows. But you can also put a piece of paper in between or use a drop of glue, just whatever you prefer. So I put it in and press the transponder into place. It doesn't matter which side of the transponder is facing up or down. And then I place and I make sure that the battery holder is positioned just like I demonstrated earlier with the separate battery holder. So that from the other side, the battery will be properly guided in a moment. Well, the next step is pretty straightforward. We place the side with the push buttons on top and wait for a click. Okay, so now that we've managed to snap the push buttons into the plastic casing, we take the battery again, the 2032, and we slide it into the battery holder here. It will also be secured under this piece of plastic here. Once that's in place, we take the top part again, and just like with the previous parts, we snap it on firmly. And finally, we have the chrome block here again, just like how it originally came off. That's how it goes back on. So we position it so that it's a few millimeters too far towards the side where that small push button was. And then we pull it towards us so that it clicks on straight. Now all that's left is to put the emergency key back into the model, and the transfer is complete. Also test it right away on the car, and in principle it should work properly immediately. Hey, hopefully everything went well with transferring your key housing. If you didn't quite manage to figure it out, you'll find our contact information in the description below this video, or you can leave a comment under this video and I'll be happy to help you further. Success!